Three things every poet knows or should know. 1. There is beauty in everything. An illustration of such a fact is found in French poet Charles Baudelaire's masterpiece, The Flowers of Evil. Les Fleurs du Mal is unprecedented in the history of Western modern poetry, and its title encapsulates the poet's relationship to duality, because poets know beauty is nothing more than extreme paradoxes reunified. Such reunification transcends anything our minds and senses can appraise, while being conveyed by the senses at the same time. So, in a sense, poetry is like having a psychedelic experience without drugs. If channeling a poem or reading one inebriates you, now you know why. Beauty is the culprit, the experience, and the outcome. Unfortunately, we know poets from the present and the past not only for their inspiring craft, but also for their destructive tendencies. While most people wonder why poets drink, do drugs, or are sometimes prone to madness, like Nietzsche, for example, who was also a philosopher, they forget about it because they perceive poetry as either cryptic or delightful. So, no one wonders why the poet's creativity ends up destroying him or her as long as we can all extract beauty from it. 2. Harmony rules the world. Poets are seekers of harmony, hence their natural talent for rhyming and their attraction for anything adding rhythm to the spoken, written word, or even to life. When poets are not busy composing odes with complex metric to reveal the latent melody language contains, they become musicians. It's pretty obvious, isn't it? Whether you sing or speak, you are just one melody away. Poets know that language is the servant of a mysterious harmonizing principle that rules over life. Their quest of what lies beneath our collective unconscious, or the world of phenomena, also directs them to using language in a variety of forms: translation, storytelling, philosophical rhetoric, symbolism, that is art, and mythology. Yes, the search for something poets can feel but cannot name is exactly what makes them multisensitive and multi talented beings. In E. Cummings' poetry, such a quest for hidden equilibrium in the midst of apparent existential chaos transpires. E. Cummings is a poet who not only writes, but inquires existence with language, which makes his poetry so evocative and vibrant. Since poets maturing seek something unknown, hidden, yet supporting reality while transcending it, they do not use language in a common way and go beyond the mundane. Why? Well, although there is beauty in simplicity, simple things in life are often attached to ordinary states of consciousness. In a museum or listening to an opera, a verse sung or said, beauty has a different quality to it. It is other than the beauty of smelling flowers or hugging your loved ones or petting your cat. Such beauty is grandiose and impersonal. Being acquainted with beauty and mystery, poets will be drawn to what triggers extraordinary states of consciousness, which brings us to the last thing poets know. 3. Emotion is the doorway to it. It is the unknown that the poet consciously or unconsciously seeks. Did you check your own life recently? How many times do you feel euphoric during the day? When was the last time you've been sad or angry or depressed? I mean, when was the last time you did not experience all of it? Poets go through extreme emotional experiences during their lives because they are in constant need of transcendence. Want proof? Take the last poem you wrote. Was it a poem inspired by a romantic relationship you relished in or gone bad? Or maybe it was derived from some sort of conflict you're having with someone? Wait, was it after you experienced extreme delight of your senses, followed by a sudden absence of delight? The truth is, as a poet, you will go through extreme emotional experiences because beauty, harmony, and the quest of the unknown guide you. A poet responds to them only. So, how do you get them? How do you get constant contact with beauty? You get it through emotional intensity. You get them through existential paradoxes you experience, turning your life into an oxymoron. Poets use emotions certain life circumstances cause them to feel as an excuse to extract poetry. Whether it's a fight or a love story of some sort, they will live the experience to the maximum, gorge themselves with it so they can derive poetry from it. And yes, this also applies to you, and that is absolutely fine until it isn't. Remember our old pal Charles? Well, Baudelaire wrote Les Fleurs du Mal because of his mistresses. He described them, versified how they made him feel, and how he felt once he was over them, which brought the world this poetry masterpiece. The problem with such a way of channeling poetry, as beautiful as the poetic outcome may be, is obvious. Deriving poetry from sensual experiences only drowns the poet. I mean, the human being behind the poet. Baudelaire suffered depression, addictions, and exile after he was convicted for Les Fleurs du Mal by the French government of Napoleon III during a public trial for outraging public decency. He died in abject fame and poverty, but also a poetry genius none of his contemporary, less experienced poets could learn from anymore. They could only mimic him, which they did after he was gone, which they keep doing even now. Of course, if you are a poet watching this, well, or even if you're not watching this, you know more than three things, obviously. But I thought covering the emotional experience of the poet was a must before I come back with another video. 30 years being a poet taught me that our sensitivity makes us marvelous human beings, but it is also our sensitivity that destroys us. So maybe time has come for a change. Maybe it's time for us to master it once and for all. Because after all, we create cultures. We matter. Tell me, what's it like for you to be a poet? Leave a comment and subscribe.